Bruce Sellery is here.
That's good news.
What? Love him. You know, it comes to this time of year, and a lot of people are giving your kids money.
Yeah.
Right? So this is not a bad thing, or is it a bad thing? Or you have to think about what you're going to do with this thing.
You have to think about what you're going to do with the money, and you also need to think about whether or not you want to give your kids something related to money for Christmas.
Okay.
Because to me, I hated getting clothes at Christmas. It was the worst gift ever. There's nothing you can do with it. I hate it. So you want to integrate money into everyday living versus having it be a capital B big deal.
Right.
So I've got some suggestions on gifts you could wrap up and put under the tree that are related to the money topic.
Okay, so what would you suggest then?
Well, first start with books, in part because books are still interesting after Boxing Day.
Right.
You know, sometimes kids, they open up the toys and then that's all there is. This is a new Canadian series called M is for Money, written by a hugely successful entrepreneur named Teresa Cascioli.
Okay.
So these books go through all sorts of different things. They underscore values that I ascribe to, the virtue of work, making choices, all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Here's the one thing, they do feel a little learning. They're a little textbooky. So Abby looked at it this morning and she said, is that a book for work?
Right.
So it'll be a great education for her. But this one, it's called Follow the Money. It looks like a kid's book.
Yes, it does.
So it follows the story of a quarter from the mint. It's a U.S. book from the mint in the U.S. that goes to the Federal Reserve. But it tells an engaging story about what money is. It's not so values-based, but it tells some interesting stories. So books can be a good catalyst and really just a way to kind of a springboard to talk about money.
To talking about money, because it needs to become that thing that is so normal and commonplace so that they don't get to the point where it's a scary thing, right?
And I love that you started talking to Leanne about giving, because let me show you this piggy bank. It has 4 separate compartments: saving, spending, donating, and investing. So when they get a dollar, they could have 4 quarters, 1 for each section. And you know, for some families, donating really is a part of their practices. For others, it isn't. But at least it brings up the topic and allows them to sort their money in a different way. It also comes with a really amazing workbook. And what I love about the workbook is it has a section on goals. Because when you're saving it's not going to send you to heaven if you save money. You save money because there's something that you want. And maybe it's a toy, maybe it's a trip, whatever it is, you want to have that goal identified, because then your vested interest is clear.
Absolutely. Where'd you get that piggy bank?
This is, it's called Money Savvy Pig. There are a number of distributors, specialty toy shops in Canada. Look for it online and find the place you can get it.
I think that is a lovely gift for your own kids or someone else's kids. Let's talk a little bit about games.
So here's the classic. I mean, Monopoly. You remember Monopoly? It's a great game. One person gets to be the banker. You get to buy properties. You may go to jail, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I brought it as a springboard in that so many games have a money element in that they involve counting and strategy, and that's an opportunity to just include it in this broad conversation. Games like the Game of Life, Payday. There's lots of them out there. They may be in your inventory. If not, pick up a copy, put it under the tree. It's kind of the Trojan horse money gift, because it's a game. We're not really going to learn about money, but then you do, because that is what you're going to be playing. Yeah,
you want to become a mogul in the real estate market.
Absolutely.
Right?
And
you want to just keep adding on to your holdings. This one's called the Here and Now edition.
So it's got the latest cities as voted by the public that you want to visit. And it's Paris and the Statue of Liberty, all these neat little tokens.
Very cool. I love that. Okay, let's talk about teens, because they can sometimes be tough to buy for. And a lot of people do usually stick to cash for teens because it's just easier.
It is easier, and there's a number of values that can really drive home. So money as a tool, the virtue of self-discipline, the virtue of work. So I do have a book. This is called OMG, the official money guide for teenagers. So this is a book. It's money savvy as well. And it's got real how-to and what's that kind of topic stuff. But if you want to put something under the tree, what you might consider is a contribution to a school trip. Something that would be really important to them that they're not going to get otherwise if there isn't some other influence. Another idea is a matching program. So you might put under the tree, this might be a great way to seed the idea that for every $10 you put into whatever it is, that trip that you want to take with your school, I'll give you $10. And so that's a way to frame it. So it's not just here's $100 for the band trip. It's for every up to $100, for every $10 you put in there, I'll add add another $100.
Very good. That does teach a really important lesson, and then all of a sudden they are taking ownership over this trip.
Yes, exactly.
Because they have helped save. My parents love to give my kids money, and we put that money is earmarked for their RESPs.
Okay.
So how should you be dealing with that money that comes in from the aunts and the uncles and the grandparents?
It really depends on the family. So
Right.
if you're an aunt, and uncle, or a grandparent, I talk to the parent. And the reason is they know their kid's temperament best, and they also know what values they're trying to drive home, right? So some kids are spenders. Giving them a $20 bill may not be the way that enables that kid to learn. Maybe a check is better. Maybe a gift card's better. So you can do cash, gift card, check, RESP money directly, but talk to the parents, because you don't want to go against what their values are, and you don't want to enable bad behavior. So let's just say, for example, you've got a teen who's doing stuff that they should not be doing with any additional money that they have. You don't want to suddenly slip them $100 and that gets, you know, smoked up in the parking lot or whatever it is.
This is only for drugs. Go enjoy yourself.
Enjoy your drugs. So that is a really important thing to kind of figure out. I love the notion of grandparents contributing to an RESP, because the grandparent gets to feel like they're providing something really valuable, and the kids can start to see, wow, at some point I may get a post-secondary education. That's not free.
It's not
very
free,
important. Can I talk about the gift opening ritual? I want people to be conscious about the gift opening ritual. If you happen to celebrate Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate that involves gifts, it's not that I have a moral position on the method. I just want people to be conscious about it. So you could be a family that subscribes to the Cookie Monster method, which is the kids come down, there's all these gifts, and they go, and it's all over in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that kind of grosses me out.
There is also what I call the Downton Abbey method, which is one gift at a time, and you thank the Dowager for each present. And you feign joy. That is the most extraordinary gift. Thank you so very much for that gift. Meanwhile, you're like, it's a sweater. But just choose your method and set some norms around it as a family. When I was growing up, it was a rotation. So you opened a present, you went to the tree, you chose one for someone else, you gave it to them, and it took forever.
Right.
But it meant that we were conscious about it. That method wouldn't work, especially if your kids too. That method isn't working.
Right.
But with Abby, that is the method that we will do. And it takes longer, but it has one appreciate the thing instead of consuming it like a cookie.
Oh my gosh.
Now, when it comes to the cookies, like jam them down your throat as fast as you can. Absolutely.
Yeah, eat as many as you can.
Yeah.
I do the little notebook, so I've got to know. You've got to read me the tag. So
you write it down. Now, do you do thank
I need
yous?
to know who it came from.
Right.
I do phone call thank yous.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but you know what? I get halfway down that list, and I'm like, I want to give up.
Right.
I really want to give up. But I try and get through the whole thing, because you know what? They spent money on my kids.
Of course.
The aunts and the uncles and what have you. So I need to know who's on that tag before you consume it like a cookie.
Right.